The Empire State Building was designed by Richmond Harold Shreve, William F. Lamb, and Arthur Loomis Harmon, who had an architecture firm together. That is a picture of the three of them there, next to plans of the Empire State Building that were originally drawn. Modern materials like steel and plate glass, as well as bright colors and designs like zigzags and starbursts, were used to create the design that we all see and love today at the Empire State Building.
This is the Waldorf Astoria Hotel on 5th Avenue, which was the location sold to the Bethlehem Engineering Corporation for $20 million in 1928. This building was later demolished to begin construction for the Empire State Building. This is a picture of Lawrence Wien, head of the investment group that purchased the completed Empire State Building for $65 million in 1961.
As you can see from this picture, the workers had a pretty dangerous job. They didn't take safety precautions. They didn't fix themselves to the beams in any ways. They simply let themselves hang as best they could so that they would have greater mobility in building this project. That's actually what gave them the ability to build it so quickly. And it was pretty safe at the time. There weren't any safety regulations, or very few, but still, there were surprisingly few deaths. Now, that said, there were still some deaths, between 5 and 6 by different counts, though nowhere near the dozens that were apparently killed according to socialist propaganda that was trying to codify safety regulations even more. It's still horrible that there were a few deaths, but considering the scope of the project, there were very few, and the workers stayed pretty happy throughout the project. The laborers were overall happy due to the good nature of their work and the scarcity of work itself at the time. The Empire State Building was constructed right at the beginning of the Depression when unemployment rates were skyrocketing, and this was still a job that was providing about double the average pay for construction work at the time, so the workers were more than happy to do it even given the risks.
The Empire State Building is one of the most well-known structures in America. From tourist attractions to pop culture references, we've come to admire this famously tall building for its testament to perseverance and symbolic achievements. Even though its title as the tallest skyscraper in the world has long been passed on to successors of even grander architectural feats, the Empire State Building remains an American icon, which, along with the Statue of Liberty and other monuments, is unique to New York City's skyline. While offering a never-before-seen view of New York from above, the Empire State Building is a sight itself of grandeur and much more. Both deaf and blind, Helen Keller reflected on the view from the Empire State Building in a letter responding to Dr. John Finley's inquiries on what she saw from the top. Keller's letter is an insightful reflection on the significance and true meaning of the Empire State Building to America. The visions she, quote, beheld, unquote, and the feelings she experienced at the top resembled the ambition and daring pursuit of humanity as we hurtle through obstacles, all of which the structure represents. As she recalls, the, quote, wild desire, unquote, to invest in properties on celestial scales, Keller saw, quote, passionate skill, arduous and fearless idealism, and a victory of imagination, unquote, of, quote, frail yet indomitable hands, unquote, in the Empire State Building. Rather than viewing materialistic desire in her physical blindness, Keller perceived so much more meaning in standing at the top of the Empire State Building. Even though there was a beautiful sight below her that only she could imagine, the experience translated perfectly in such a way that she could, in fact, see the breathtaking mysticism and inspiration we all see our world from so high above the ground. The Empire State Building was a vision representing the story of humanity, which, from fragile beginnings, courageously built itself to a ruling height and sought solutions to rise, literally, higher above obstacles and tribulations which are inseparable from existence here below. Even in darkness, without the breathtaking sight of the city from above, the Empire State Building is truly a vision to behold, showing the impressiveness and success of human imagination to reach the stars, dream bigger or taller than ever before, We experience a view from above, embodying the hardships and courage of laborers from over a year of hard work, along with the idealism of our ancestors through centuries of seeking the land or sky to build our perfect life. And Noel, as Keller said, the product of the laborers and money spent into the construction of the Empire State Building, a marvelous feat that awed Americans and the whole world of humanity's deafness and eye for beauty from both below and above, is not just a sight to see, but it's also a monument that uniquely inspires the feeling and utter passion we as humans have to rise. It's a story we can all see, regardless of blindness or sight.